Welcome back to Blue Zone Homestead. Today I have planned another busy day. Today we are going to the garden and I would like to pick a nice bunch of flowers because I'm missing having it from the kitchen table. And then we're going to make raspberry jam today. So I have got about 2 kilograms of raspberries in here. So I've got the sugar ready and the pot. So we're gonna get that going first. So I'm making my own vanilla essence. So I am soaking the vanilla beans in alcohol. You can do it in JD or rum as you prefer. So I've just had that, I think it's about close to a year now, but I cannot remember for 100% sure. It's definitely about 9 to 12 months in a cupboard, and every time I remember I just give them a good shake, and this was ready to strain and get another one going. So what I have done, I filled up my little bottle, what I use all the time in my baking, and we have got some leftover beans. So I have removed some and replaced some with some new Tahitian beans, vanilla beans, pods, and this, still got so much goodness in it. So I'm going to show you how I make my vanilla sugar. Also, I would like to cook something. I don't know what yet, I haven't got a plan, we go with the flow, but I've got a few ingredients out of the fridge what needs using up. So I have got some cabbages, broad beans, I'm just looking over there what else. We've got some Parmesan cheese, I've just grated some from our goat's cheese what we made ages ago. And we have got some beetroot what I've grated, we had some in a breakfast, so I would like to use that up as well. And we've got some leftover dough, like a naan bread dough, what we also need to use up. So probably that's gonna be the side with tonight's dinner. And I think I've still got some mashed potato in the fridge, and I took yesterday, we were out, came home late, but we didn't fancy dinner at all afterwards. We just had a slice of cake. So I took some, I think it was chicken enchilada, chicken salsa verde out of the pantry shelf what we've made last year. So I am juggling with the thoughts, what shall we make for dinner? I don't know yet, something mishmash all together, I don't know. Also, I'm going to make broad bean guacamole. Oh my god, I've made that last week and I couldn't have enough of it, and it's nearly finished, and we've still got so much of that broad beans but we've picked last week also. So I'm going to make broad bean guacamole. Right, so if you're interested, you are welcome. Most of the day we're going to be in a kitchen, a little bit outside. Let's go watch the vlog. So I've measured out the 2 kilograms of raspberries. Actually I've got a bit of leftover, so I'm just going to chuck that in, so it's going to be about 2.2 kilograms at this point. And for every kilogram of raspberry, I'm going to add 300 grams of sugar. I have got in front of me white sugar and brown sugar, so we kind of go like half and half. I am going to use this scale. Some of the sugar probably will stick to it, but never mind, because they've got a bit of a raspberry juice in it. Okay, let's start with the brown sugar. I've got 0 gram on my scale, so we're ready to go. So I'm aiming about 310, because we've got slightly more than 2 kilogram. 210. There. $310 exactly. So we've got 310 grams of sugar. And on top of that I'm going to add another 310 grams of white sugar. So we're gonna end up with 620 grams all together. $621, that's perfect. Okay, so we don't need the sugar anymore. And I'm going to use this thick butter cast iron pan to make our jam today. Try to not to make too much mess. So I'm just adding half of the raspberry and half of the sugar. I'm just going to break this up a bit. This is looking too full, but that will cook down, so that will be okay. And I'm going to put this on a stove, medium-high heat, until it comes to rolling boil. But we are going to cook this for a couple of hours anyway. Okay, this is really full, right? I'm just adding one more ingredient and we put this on the stove. So for every kilogram I'm going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. I'm gonna give it a little stir. Put the lid on and leave it to it. And we'll come back and we're going to little mash that raspberry and do the next step. So the raspberry jam the strawberry jam is set nicely, it's cooled down. I will be removing the ring. This is nicely sealed. I'm just gonna wipe it so it's nice and clean. I've already checked, they all sealed nicely. So, and we're going to label them and put them in a pantry shelf. So we managed to have 6 gorgeous bottles of strawberry jam. I have got 4 labels, what I've used from last year's. What I have learned from the previous year, you know, when I still need to do the pantry tour. When we're going to do the pantry tour, I'll show you, and probably I'm going to talk about it then, but I've got like 3 kind of equal size of my pantry shelves. And what I do, I've got kind of like 3-year ratio going on, so that I've got what I've made, let's say, this year, last year and year before, kind of preservation projects. But what I tend to do, I do a little bit of a switcheroo. So I don't stick to that. The one side is 2023, the next side is 2024, 25, you know, I'm keep swapping them around. So what I've learned to do, because I like to reuse my labels at the strawberry jam, so it's no point to do them new every year, but because of this switcheroo all the time scenario going on, I have decided to use a marker pen and write on the top of the lid the year. So it's 2024, so I'm just gonna put 24 on the top of the lid, so I know that this jar is been made in year 24, because I still got some strawberry jam from last year, probably even a year before. So And this way I can reuse those labels every year without keep having to, you know, change the date on the label. But if I do it this way, then we'll know the year. Okay, so I also reuse this little fancy dressing, the top material, and I usually get a new elastic band. Sometimes I reuse them as well. And I'll just dress this up. This one is actually a Christmas one. It's end of June. But so I'm probably gonna use this at Christmas time. How pretty! So it's a very homemade organic strawberry jam, low sugar strawberry jam from our garden. So I'm just going to dress up all the jars beautifully. This one's got these lovely bees on it and sunflowers. How gorgeous. This got poppy. And this one's got a gingerbread, so that's a Christmassy one as well. And just those lovely flowers. So the material goes on first, then the elastic band, and finally the label. Okay, I'm going to take all these gems now to the pantry. Okay, welcome to my pantry. So I need to find a space to put these strawberry jams. It's still pretty full, this pantry. That's why we need to do a pantry tour so I can see what we've got in here, and we need to start using up because the 2024 canning and preserving season clearly already started, because that's where I've started collecting all the empty jars, so that would make sense, you know, to reuse all these lovely jars. So as soon as we use them up, I wash it and I kind of organize it back to the shelves, so they are all in the same place and in kind of like an order. So regarding the size of the jars and stuff. So, okay, I'm just taking some more small jars for some more jam projects. The next project is to make the broad beans guacamole. So I've already put it this few days ago. I'm going to start it browning a bit, but never mind because we're going to peel this outer layer off. I'm just curious that these pods, how much of the inside pods gonna give us. The water is now boiling behind us, so I've done that step, and we're going to blanch this only for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to put it in an ice cold water, so to stop the cooking process, and the outer skin will wrinkle and cool down and just slips off, and I'll show you the inside, the delicious broad beans. So 868 grams. I'm gonna take a picture because I know I will forget and I just want to know. So 868 grams can go now in our boiling water. Okay, so the broad beans now been blanching for about 3 minutes, what is perfect. And now it's time to remove the broad beans, and we're going to put them in ice cold water. Okay, the raspberry jam is now boiling. It's in a rolling boil. This has been cooking now for about half an hour, and I'm gonna give it another half an hour, and we're going to strain it to remove all these seeds. You don't have to. You can skip this step and just carry on cooking down the jam. I am now ready to strain the raspberry jam. So I've got the sieve and some glass bowl. And we're going to remove the seed. Okay, so the raspberry jam is now all strained, so I've got no seeds in them. That greatly reduced it. So probably we ended up, you know, quite a bit less, nearly half. And now we're going to bring this back up to a boil, and we're going to reduce the water level. So our aim is to thicken up the jam so we can then jar it up and water button it for 10 minutes. So put the lid back on, and so far that's been cooking for half an hour, and from now on probably I'm going to cook this for an hour. We're going to have a look, and probably we're gonna do another hour before we're going to put them in the jars. So this now has been sitting in this cold water for half an hour. So I think we are ready to strain the beans and depot them. But now some of them are even cracked, so it just literally slips out of that outer shell. And this is, you know, it is edible, but I don't like it. So what I keep what's inside. And that's what we're going to make. So this one, it slipped out. It's in the water somewhere, because it just, oh, it's here. So this will keep me busy now for a bit, but I don't want to do jobs like that. But before we do this job, let's go to the garden, pick some flowers. See, so many is now just slipped out. These outer shells are empty. Let's go and pick some flowers and bring it back to the kitchen, make our flower bouquet. And then we can carry on then these broad beans and keep stirring those lovely raspberry jam. Actually, I've got something to tell you. I've just received a lovely gift from my friend, from a local farmer who had some beef giveaways. So I received a couple of pounds of ground beef and a couple of quite a few steak. So I think this helped me with it could have not come in a better time, honestly, because I've just mentioned to you earlier that we've got all those cabbages and the broad beans guacamole, you know, and I think we're going to use up some of those lovely beef steak in our dinner for tonight. So that is really, really good. Let's pick some flowers. So in my flower bouquets, what I kind of pick weekly, there we've got some edible, not edible plants, herbs, you know, whatever is ready on the week, I am ready to go to pick our bouquet. So I've just picked some bay leaf. Did you see that huge bay leaf bush I have? I've only planted that like few years ago, and it's now absolutely massive. And we are now in the vegetable garden picking snapdragon. So beautiful, vibrant pink. And the log raised bed area now with this beautiful cosmos, what we sowed seeds in February, March time together, and look at them now. I am so happy. I didn't know what to expect. I came up with this log raised bed a couple of years ago when we had a big storm and we've lost quite a few trees on our property, and I thought that's gonna be a good idea. Let's do it, and I'm so glad I did it. It made like such a lovely log raised bed. Actually, that's where I had years ago my compost bins, but yeah, so it really works as a beautiful flower bed area. And all of these, every single of these flowers and plants you see in here, we've sown from seeds this year, only few months ago, and look at them now. I absolutely love it. Picking a few onion, what gone to flower. That actually looks really, really pretty in a flower bouquet. I've done it a few times now, and you know, because I've got so many, I'm sure I've still got loads left for the insects as well, and saving seeds as well as a flower bouquet display. Look at that beautiful flower, a lily. And I've just picked some sweet pea, perennial sweet pea, and off we go and pick some. Did I pick some lemon balm there? More snapdragon, some white ones, pink ones, some zinnia. Oh, I'm in element. I'm in my element. I think we're going to pick some oregano. Next. Oh wow. Most of the oregano now gone to seed, so I leave it just for the insects. I think we've got enough now for a while. Wow, look at all these beautiful flowers we've just picked. All homegrown, smells fantastic. Let's make a beautiful bouquet and going back to the kitchen and put them in the vase. I actually cannot believe what we've just picked. I am so impressed. I just couldn't stop myself, and I thought I've got to stop now because, you know, I have to fit all this in a vase, and we'll be back next week, don't worry. But I just love it. It's like a little florist in me now, you know, making all these arrangements. It gives me so much joy. I love it. So I can barely fit it now in my hand. It's that many. But it's nearly done. And just look at it. Isn't that just gorgeous? I think we've picked the prettiest flower bouquet yet. It's got so many beautiful flowers and plants in them. Oh, it smells like summer. Makes me so happy. I'm going to marinate the beef steak next with tandoori masala, smoked paprika, marjoram, bit of elderflower vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, tomato powder with salt, garlic powder and onion powder. So this can marinate while we are putting those beans, raw beans. So I'm gonna put heaped 2 teaspoons of tandoori masala, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, pepper, marjoram, teaspoons, tomato powder with salt next, and just going to give a good massage, and I'm going to leave it in a fridge until we need them. A splash of elderflower vinegar, garlic powder, half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of onion powder, a bit of salt and white pepper, and the olive oil. I keep my eye on this jam, I keep stirring them. Okay, let's give a good massage. So the flavors really penetrate through that meat, that steak. I'll try to coat every single bit of that meat on both sides and put the lid on and put this to the fridge. And we're back to peel or pod or shell these broad beans. That took me a while. I'm snacking on it as well, I can't help myself. It a little bit honestly tastes like pistachio. It's so good. As soon as I take that outer layer off, that rubbery bit, what goes to the compost by the way, so it don't get wasted, the inside, that vibrant green broad bean is just divine, so delicious. And honestly, second time I've made the broad bean guacamole now, and we all love it. We use it in breakfast, on toast, in my cooking, sandwiches. It's just delicious. Let's make the broad bean guacamole together right now. Right, it took me just over an hour to de-shell all these lovely broad beans. So these are the outer layer. I'm going to discard this. That will go to the compost bin. And I'm going to put it back on a scale. It was it 686? I think it was 686. No, 868. So 868 grams we started with. And let's see how much we've got now. We lost about 300 grams. 578 grams. 577 grams. And we started off with 868 grams. So yeah, we lost a bit, but it's worth it. So I'm going to bring the rest of the ingredients and let's make that broad bean guacamole. Okay, so we've lost just under 300 grams, but we still got 580 grams of broad beans. So I'm going to blitz this. We're going to get the food processor out and we're going to make the broad bean guacamole in the food processor. So we're gonna use all the 580 grams of podded, peeled broad beans, and I'm going to toast some pine nuts. So I'm gonna tell you all the ingredients first. So we're gonna use pine nuts, extra virgin olive oil, lemon juice, marjoram, cumin. I'm gonna put some dry mango powder, smoked paprika, pepper, salt, white pepper, and a small handful of fresh garlic. The cast iron frying pan now is really hot, so I'm ready to go to add for a few minutes only 2 tablespoons of these pine nuts. This will give a lovely flavor to our broad bean guacamole. So put that on so that can toast. Next, I'm going to find the half a teaspoon measure, and then we're going to add half a teaspoon of white pepper, half a teaspoon of salt. We've got 6 cloves of peeled garlic in here. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of marjoram, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika pepper, half a teaspoon of dry mango powder, and half a teaspoon of cumin powder, ground cumin. It's gonna give a lovely flavor. Right. And now we're gonna go back to a half a tablespoon, and I'm going to measure out half a tablespoon of lemon juice. Let's start with this, and then we're going to have a taste test, and then we'll go from there. Also, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Nearly done. Let's go blitz the broad beans. Going to add all the spices next, and the lemon juice. Let's add the pine nuts and the olive oil, and we have a taste test. I forgot the garlic. So let's add the garlic and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Lovely toasted this pine nuts is. It will give an amazing flavor. So let's put that all in. Let's have a taste test. We're nearly there. I'm gonna add a bit more salt and a bit more lemon juice. And I think a bit more cumin as well. So we're gonna add nearly a tablespoon of lemon juice, half a teaspoon of salt, and another half a teaspoon of ground cumin. No, this is not good. The raspberry jam is now on a stove for 2 hours. So another hour and a half since we strained it. And it's slowly cooking down. I think I'm going to leave the lid off now. Still very liquidy. I'm going to give another half an hour. So it's 3 hours altogether, and we're going to jar them up. I don't mind if it doesn't go to that jam stage. I'll usually use this up in our yogurt, on our bacon anyway. The next job is to make the vanilla sugar. So the way I'm gonna do the vanilla sugar is so easy. So I've just filled up with granulated white sugar, this plastic tub, that's where I keep them. So we're gonna put them all back in here. So I'm just gonna take some out from here, and we build it back up, and we put these used vanilla pods, what I've used to make the vanilla essence, to put them back to the sugar. Okay. And literally I'm just going to put like a handful in there and just give it a good shake and leave it in there and fill it back up like a good layer until we cover those beans, and we add another layer. And another handful of beans. And I'm just going to carry on this until we use up all the sugar and all the beans. And I put the lid back on and just leave that in there. I might just going to give them a stir when I remember it. And that's all I have at the moment, so I don't use any kind of like measurements. If you would like more vanilla flavor to your sugar, you know, you can use more pods. And it's all done. And that's how easy. So now I'm just gonna leave it in there for a while. And that's how I make the vanilla sugar. It's time to make a dinner. The raspberry jam is nearly done. So it's been nearly 3 hours now. Yeah, 20 minutes and we're going to jar the jam. And actually I'm just getting the water ready. So I'm going to put that up for boiling, because we're going to use water bath canning method today. And I'm going to wash and get the jars ready, and while that water comes up to boil, I'm just going to cut up this cabbage, what we've harvested not long ago, a couple of weeks ago. The water is now nearly boiling and our raspberry jam is done. 3 hours cooking. Let's do the test. It's still not quite done. It's not set, but I'm happy with that. Let's have a taste test. Oh, it's delicious. Okay, we already filled the jars, warm jam. I've got the funnel. Let's do it. It's really, really yummy. Let's see how many jars we made. Half an inch. Aiming for those half-inch headspace. I reuse the jars and even the screw lids from last year. I've still got loads of mixed berries and loganberries in the fridge, so I think the jam making is not over, it's just the start. Red, yellow raspberries and lots of loganberries, and it's still a lot I need to pick. I'm ready to put the dish together, and I'm going to bake it in a roasting oven in my Aga. So the meat, the beef steak, now has been marinated for a few hours, and I'm going to make this recipe up today, so I don't know how it's going to turn out like. So the darker green colored cabbages are the outer cabbage leaves, so we're going to make like a bed with the heads, so the cabbage heads and cabbage leaves. And you know, we've got some beetroot, so we're going to use that up. This we're gonna give this dish now this pinky color. We've got some parmesan, So we're gonna put a layer of Parmesan. And what I have left over this basil pesto what we've made a few weeks ago. And I'm going to use this up as well. That will give a delicious flavor, I think, to this dish. And now we're going to add the meat, like this. Let's wipe everything, all the goodies out with this meat. All the lovely flavor and spices. And the next layer of cabbage leaves. This will all cook down. I love experimenting. Okay. I don't put too much seasoning on it now. Put all this on it now. All the cheese and beetroot. That's it. And the basil pesto. And all go in there. So good. I've got some more extra cheese in here, needs to be used up. Might as well put this on. Like this. Put this in the oven and just leave it to it. We're probably gonna have a look in an hour. Might give them a good stir. And we're going to have this with some mashed potatoes. The jam is now ready, so it's been 10 minutes in a water bath canner. I've just removed the whole pot, leave it for 5 minutes, and now we are ready to take the jars out of the water. One by one, using the jar lifter. Always use kitchen towel as an extra support, and just place them beautifully next to each other on a kitchen towel and leave it there rest of the day, usually overnight. This has been now for an hour in a roasting oven. Let's give a good stir. I'm gonna go put this back for another half an hour, and I think dinner's ready. Okay, dinner is ready. Let's take it out from the oven. Wow, looking good. Looking delicious. We will show you in a minute. Okay, let's make the naan bread. This will make two. While that's cooking then, let me show you what else I've collected. I had a spare hour while the food was cooking, so I've been harvesting and foraging outside. So I've got some mullen flour, you know, the one what the bees absolutely love. Also, I've harvested some chamomile, you know where the sweet corn is. And I've harvested some raspberries and strawberries. This will go to the fridge. Also, some elderflower, and these gonna be our very, like a last ones. I think I'm gonna put this in another tray so it's not too overcrowded. And I'm just gonna put this by the agar. That will dry within a few days. Keep turning elderflower honey as well. That is ready now. Right, next tray. I like to use a parchment paper so it won't stick. But yeah, it's not many elderflower left now. It's all turning to berry. So our next harvest is gonna be the elderberry harvest. But this one is going to make tea for us. Look at our dish. Cannot wait to try this. Let's try this cabbage a bit. It's nice. Try the meat. That is good. That is delicious. I think we're gonna have an amazing dinner, friends. We created another fantastic dish. Right, let's dish up. So we've got naan bread each. We've got guacamole, broad bean guacamole, mashed potato, served with tandoori beef steak with braised cabbage and cheese. Dinner is ready. Can't wait to get into this. Okay, I think we had quite a bit done today. So we've made this lovely dinner. I've also picked strawberries and raspberries and mullein and chamomile and elderflower. What wasn't even on a plan for today, but I had time, so I've done it. We've made vanilla sugar, we've made broad bean guacamole, and we have made a lovely raspberry jam. So yeah, I like when the days everything goes to plan and everything works out well. And we've also picked this beautiful bouquet. Oh my god, this is so pretty. Well, I hope you enjoyed spending time with me and see you very soon. Bye friends!